Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band. Video game movie club. Laugh until the credits roll. Joey Alex, Tim will dub. Scenes that make you lose control.
Do you have a letterbox?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want Hoyer Through letterbox? Come on down to Tim's Hoyer Through letterbox industries.
Oh, yeah.
We'll Hoyer your letterbox left, right, and centre. Hoyer, just for you.
Nothing
Oh,
to do with
yeah.
the episode. Alex just has to have this on his hard drive now.
Welcome back to Video Game Movie Club, where we've just finished recording, thank goodness you're here, and moved directly onto this while we're still in 3 a.m. brain state.
I don't think that Thank Goodness You're Here is out yet, Alex.
It is. It was
It
out
is.
last week.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I am your host for this movie, Alex. Good to meet you all. Nice to see you. How we doing? I'm joined, as always, by the cap wearer, Joey.
And founder and CEO of Joey's Milk Industries. Yeah, that's me.
I'm the well-hydrated Tim.
I have recently developed Tin Dog. Find your dog the perfect bitch today.
Sorry, we really should take this more seriously.
Yes, no, we probably should.
Oh, it's all staying in. It's all staying in.
I am going to get a lovely Call the Goal meal tomorrow, though.
Oh, yeah?
Delicious.
Yeah.
So we for this episode of Video Game Movie Club, we did not watch Thank Goodness You're Here the movie. We in fact watched the Monster Hunter film because at the end of this month comes Monster Hunter Rise, and we are all very excited
Wild.
for it, I assume.
I might even get it on release day. Who knows?
It's
Ooh.
Monster Hunter Wilds, gang.
This is wild.
You said Rise out.
Crazy. Did I?
Yeah.
Whoops.
I mean, I'm still yet to play Monster Hunter Rise, so
It's pretty good.
You should play it. So
is
that
this good as Worlds? No, I
Uh,
guess we'll find out in our Worlds episode that comes out next week.
no,
Yeah.
it's coming out in 4 weeks.
But no, it's not.
It is. We got
It
Factorio,
is.
Jusan, and then Monster Hunter Worlds.
Why have we done that? We should tie it together with the Monster Hunter release.
Because it's tied together with the Monster Hunter release. Worlds episode comes out like a couple of days before Wilds.
But why are we doing this so bloody early?
You got Thanks I Hate It in later in the month.
We could have just... Guys, we're not contractually obliged to anything. We should just move it around. It's fine.
I mean, we can put this there, I suppose.
No, we're doing it now. We'll put it where you fucking wanted it.
It's coming out on a Wednesday. Fuck off.
And I'm sure the audience is surprised to learn that we actually release things on time per schedule, despite this collective
What is a
tomfoolery.
I don't know that word. Is it French?
I hate both of you so much. Anyway, back to Monster Hunter. As always, we're going to talk about our sort of experience within the franchise as a whole. So for me, I came into Monster Hunter at Monster Hunter Worlds. I've not played any of the old games. I've got about 430 hour in Monster Hunter World and then about 200 in Monster Hunter Rise. So you could say I maybe enjoy the games a bit. Tim?
I started with Generations Ultimate on the 3DS, and I got into it because a YouTuber I followed at the time said it's like Boss Fight the video game, and I said I like Boss Fight and I like video game. I will buy Monster Hunter, and then I didn't enjoy Monster Hunter Generations very much at the time. But then I played Worlds because a group of us were playing it, all around the same time. I was like, this is great. And then Iceborne came out and said, this is great. And then Rise came out, and for about 2 weeks I said, this is great. And then I dropped it. And then I went back to Generations Ultimate. It's good. In retrospect, it is a very good game. Just at the time, I didn't appreciate it. But I'm also a fan of the series, yes.
I do feel like it's a little bit of almost like the famous 2-week Minecraft phase. You go through phases of, I'm going to go back to Monster Hunter Worlds. We had that not long ago, well, a few months ago now. We had that, and part of it is it just ties up with when you can actually get your friends together to play something and convince them to install a game that's 70 odd gigs. Joey?
I've played Worlds, and that's it. I have Rise. I enjoyed Worlds. Spoiler for 4 apparently weeks time. I enjoy Worlds. I played it at first and didn't get it because I played it by myself. Playing it with friends, very good. I have about 40 hours in it, so not nearly as much as these guys. But I understand the series from Worlds, and it's good fun.
It's definitely one of those games where it is much better to play it with friends. You can play with randoms online because there is matchmaking and the likes, but it is just so much more fun to play with people you know while you're chatting to them and throwing insults at them.
You can play it solo as well, but if you're just getting into the series, definitely find a group,
Yes.
preferably with at least one experienced person.
And if you can't find an experienced person, go into the multiplayer lobbies where there's so many people who are level 999. It is insane the number of people that are at that level.
People know life this game.
In all the hours I've got in Monster Hunter World, I think I'm master rank 150.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of the hours people put into these games. It is wild.
It's a big old grind. But we're here to talk about the movie, Alex. There's a movie
We
of
are.
this franchise.
There is a movie. This movie came out I did have it, 2020, so it's actually quite a recent film, especially compared to the films we've already done. It is starring Mila Djokovic and a bunch of other names I don't recognize apart from Ron Perlman is in this.
It's also directed by Mila's husband.
I wonder how she got the job.
Yeah, I mean, he also directed the Resident Evil movies, which she is also in.
I wonder how she got the job.
I do wonder. It was produced by Constantine Films, Tencent, and Toho, and distributed by Sony. It did not review well so far. According to Rotten Tomatoes, 44%, and IMDb 5.2, so a very, very middling reviews. One thing I have noticed that I would like to bring up is the budget for this film was $60 million. Guys, how much do you think it made in the box office?
It's going to be like... I think it will have probably just broken even, so I'm going to say 65 million.
100 million.
47.9 million.
Oof. That's a 20
It
million
did not
loss.
meet budget. Yes. No.
That's
Sorry,
rough.
no, Tim. That was
12.1 million.
Oh, there's
Come on.
less.
Mm-hmm.
bad.
I work in finance.
It
So, ladies, if you're looking for a man in finance, 6'5", blue eyes, that can't count, Tim. There you go.
Sure.
didn't know Tim was 6'5".
He's not. It's a
I'm
stupid
not.
TikTok song. Tim's actually
No, I know it's
4'11".
I'm the guy from
With-
Thank Goodness You're Here.
You're the guy from Lord of the Rings. You know, the one
Yeah.
who carries the ring.
Gandalf.
So before we descend back into Thank Goodness You're Here, guys, I'm going to ask you your initial thoughts, and we're going to start with Joey, who I've heard a little sneak preview of.
Yeah, little sneak preview. Let me just whip this one out.
Oh, well, I guess he hated it.
This movie sucked ass. This movie was not a Monster Hunter movie. It was a film about the army going to a different dimension, which I think Will Ferrell did once. This movie was a Monster Hunter movie for the last 15 to 20 minutes with the fight with the dragon that I can't remember the name of.
Rathalos. Gorm
Rathalos.
Regala.
Rathalos, the fight with Rathalos I enjoyed. The rest of it I thought was awful. There were bits where they tried to be really funny. They weren't. There were bits where there was some cool Monster Hunter designs, but they were all ripped straight from the game, so nothing was original. I don't think Mila Djokovic is a very good actor. Yeah, this movie was a bit of a slog.
Tim?
I thought, because it's the third time I've seen the movie now.
Tim hates himself.
I do. So I think that what they did with the Monster Hunter stuff was actually pretty good for the most part. Like there's some inaccuracies, like the Nicella, the big spider monster they have. There's only supposed to be a few of them, and they didn't really make it look like the Nicella, but it was the Nicella. and there was thousands of them in this Nicella nest rather they had. That part not a fan of. However, what I was a fan of is the Rathalos. Rathalos looked, sounded, and had a pretty damn good role in the movie. Diablos was pretty great, pretty accurate to the film as well for the most part. You know, not having great eyesight, but relying on sound and vibrations in the sand to find his prey. Really cool stuff, and it was interesting to see how they adapted to fighting that. It was cool to see Goro Magala in the very end there with, and there was also a really there was a little preview of I always forget what the herbivores are called. There's Kestodon and there's Astodon, I think it is.
No, it's I've got it in my notes here somewhere. It's Astropos or something.
Atropos, that's it.
The Apseros.
Yeah.
Apseros.
It was cool to see them because they're some of the first monsters you see in the Monster Hunter series for the most part. It was cool to be like, oh yeah, they're cool. I wish we saw more monsters, or maybe had a film that wasn't focused around Herder, the U.S. military. Because my problem with this movie, I think like I said, I think it nails a lot of the Monster Hunter stuff, but it doesn't need to be wedged into a U.S. Army movie. And it felt like that whoever was producing this movie just went, oh, the U.S. sometimes fights wars in deserts. What if we had a desert monster and a portal to the Monster Hunter world for no real reason? I'm not going to spoil the very end, but there's a really dumb plot device in this movie called the Sky Tower, which basically acts as a rift between the regular world and the new world. But it's never explained. And I know they were teasing a sequel with the mysterious hooded figure in the post-credits scene, but I would like some explanation, please. Thank you.
I wonder if it got a sequel.
It did not.
I wonder if that's the $12 million loss.
I wonder.
on a loved IP as well.
Mila Djokovic as well. Her character, I don't remember her character's name. I don't remember any of the characters' names in this outside
Captain
of
Artemis.
the lieutenant. Thank you, Captain Artemis. She boiled down into that fucking trope that I hate so much in American productions of they love their family so much and I love my family so much. That makes them very relatable because the whole thing is that she's carrying an Altoids tin with what I'm assuming is a wedding ring on it. It's never elaborated on. So we don't know. We just don't know. But I would assume it's a partner at home based on the fact there's a wedding ring in there. But that's all we've got of her is a strong military woman with no real personality, and they have a partner. Good. Let's go for a movie based on that. Those are my rambling thoughts. To summarize, Monster Hunter stuff generally pretty good for the most part. American military stuff real fucking dumb.
Yeah, I feel like I mirror a lot of what you said there. The Monster Hunter stuff was pretty true and accurate to the series, but I feel like they needed a device plot to basically go, we want to plop someone in this universe who's never experienced it. How can we do that? Military and magical portal. It felt a bit lazy writing, to be honest. They could have just done a movie entirely set in the new world, and it's an up and coming hunter who's going out into the field for their first time or something like that. There are ways they could have written this that didn't involve the military from Earth.
But they did all the hard stuff, didn't they? They did all the hard stuff of animating the ship in the sands, which, the CGI and that was quite good, and it was out there and wild, but it happens in Monster Hunter. So just keep going with that. The only reason in my mind that I can see that they put the American military into this was so they can roll a jeep over in the sand for the trailer and have a guy go, "Where's the road gone?" and then they all die.
Well, my thoughts with that are, I think they put the US military in there to sell tickets to the casual audience, which is fine to do in most movies, but the people who are going to see the Monster Hunter movie are people who are already interested in Monster Hunter. They know about the lore of the monsters, they know about the lore of the people, and they know about the fleets and the research ships and all that stuff. They are not going to give a shit about the US military.
I feel like they could have done a lot better if they'd built it and produced it and trailered it as more of a kaiju movie, something like Godzilla. Because,
Ho ho, we're on this.
well, yeah, exactly. And when you boil it down, they are basically kaiju. They're big world-destroying monsters.
Yeah.
Joey, you were going to say something.
But all of this is evident by the fact that they have a palico in the movie for about. And a palico, for those who don't know, is like a cat servant thing that goes around with the hunters. And they have one in there for about 10 seconds that cooks some food, and they go, and he goes, "You've got cats in your world too, right?" And then they're never mentioned again.
Well,
It
hang
was
on
so-
now. The
The
Meowskiller
winks
chef
at her
has
when
a,
they
you know,
go away.
Yeah, the cat definitely gives Mila Djokovic the fuck me eyes, which is a horrific idea, considering they
But-
generally have barbed penises.
You've taken all the visceral nature out of my retort to Alex's original question. I feel like that kind of stuff is like they went, we filmed this movie. Oh, it is meant to be Monster Hunter though, so let's have a cat chef. And I just think they missed the mark. I know you said they did the Monster Hunter stuff well. I don't know the series well enough, obviously, to agree with you because I don't think they did it well. Also, if I was a casual viewer and never knew anything about Monster Hunter, I would be saying, why was there a ship sailing in the sand? Where was the monster hunting? Because there wasn't any. And actually, like the fight with Rathalos was a really good example of how you do a fight in the game. But if you didn't know the game, then you wouldn't understand what all that was about. You wouldn't think it was a hunt. It was something like the Rathalos was in the way of their objective. It just missed everything for me.
The other thing that I was going to say, because I was talking to Payne about this film while we were watching it. There's a part of their plan for defeating Diablos is to use some Nicella venom because Nicella has sleepy venom. Essentially, it makes their victim fall asleep, and they do a thing where they make a trap and they take a fang of it so they can extract the venom to make arrows, and that's all very, very true to Monster Hunter. But then it just boils down to hit the thing with a rocket launcher and then stab it in the skull. Which I know that Monster Hunter has a little bit of a ridiculous combat set, but I don't know, just the thing that's been terrorizing what is a tribe essentially. It's been terrorizing the desert. It's this alpha creature. It's this huge thing. This world-destroying creature is killed by 2 hits with a rocket launcher and 2 stabs with a sword that is much smaller than it.
It definitely felt like it was trying to big up the US military again, because it's like you say, this Diablos has been the bane of the crew's life for who knows how long. It's an apex hunter. It's an incredibly tough monster to fight at the level you fight it in the games. And these professional hunters can't handle it, even though this is basically their bread and butter. But suddenly the military turns up, one person from the US military, and boom, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no good.
No good.
Shall we have a quick-ish rundown of the plot?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
I feel like
we've gone through a few.
done that.
We've gone through a few bits. Yeah, this will contain spoilers, obviously, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. So, the first scene is, as Joey alluded to, a pirate ship floating through the sand, which for the casuals is weird. And Ron Perlman is the captain. We love Ron Perlman. We also see a few hunters and a couple of handlers who, luckily, are not allowed to talk.
That would require paying them extra on the set. So
Yes. The ship's
We hate
attacked
the
by a
handler.
Diablos. Yeah. The ship's attacked by a Diablos, and the hunter is thrown off the ship. We never get a name for him, so he's now known as the Hunter. Back on Earth, it's a United Nations security team, but let's face it, it's the US military are looking for a lost squad. So in that scene, it does the usual thing of that movies do, where they put like Operation blah blah blah, latitude, longitude, blah blah blah. I looked up that latitude and longitude. It's in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. It is in the Bermuda Triangle.
Maybe that's why there's a portal there.
Or maybe they just didn't. Or maybe they just didn't want to say it's one of these war countries that we like to go to.
Can I point out, just while we're on the topic of this particular scene where we see the longitude and latitude and then we see the desert, there is some bizarre product placement in this movie.
The Coca-Cola can.
The Coca-Cola can, which is just in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yep.
And then the other one that they have is Mila Djokovic and the Hunter are stood out in the desert and they're trying to establish a friendship. And she gives him a Hershey's chocolate bar.
Yes.
And they make a real point to like show, here is her handing a chocolate bar. And she goes, look, delicious chocolate. And they go, delicious chocolate. Hershey's are a piece of shit. The only good one is the cookies and cream, but they don't do that one.
No, they do the plain one. Look, back in the desert, an electrical storm appears on the horizon, and for some reason, one of the military guys decides that is somehow the enemy using a storm to cover their advance, which makes absolutely no sense because no one can make a storm that looks like that. They get pulled through a portal into the new world. Then they're all Diablos attacks them, kills 2 of the 5 of the squad. The rest of them get taken to the Nicella nest. And then Captain Artemis gets poisoned and falls asleep. She wakes up to find in the sack next to her another one of her squad dead. She then escapes from the sack that she's stuck in, continues through the nest, finds another one of her squad mates who, he's been infected with Nicella and just ends up having spiders crawl over him and he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Artemis manages to get out of the nest by using a road flare and a can of spray paint as a makeshift flamethrower. And that's when the Hunter and the Ranger become friends over a Hershey's chocolate bar. Joey?
Every time you say Nicella, I think of Nigella Lawson. Can we call them Nicella Lawsons from now on, please?
You'll be pleased to know they're not in the film very often from this point onwards.
Well, I meant when we play the games as well.
Oh, I see.
That'd be good, thank you.
And then there's just a whole load of training montages. The Hunter shows Captain Artemis how to use the dual blades, including the demon mode for the blades, which is never used again. Which could have led to some very fun fight sequences, but they went, nah, let's leave it. They then
load...
load...
the audience who don't know, demon mode essentially touch the dual blades together and they have some sort of chemical or physical reaction or some sort of reaction. It's not magic, but it makes lightning.
It also makes you much quicker.
Yeah.
In the games. You become basically a Beyblade using them. So then they use the Nicella Lawson venom to disable the Diablos and then punch a hole in his head with the greatsword. And then the Hunter gets knocked out as a result of that, so Artemis has to take him on a sled made of Diablos shell. They eventually happen upon an oasis where we see the Apseros, which are our fun giant turtle-looking friends, which is then attacked by a Rathalos. It's the first time we see the Rathalos, and it's, they don't show him in his full glory. They allude to him. The oasis catches fire. There's a stampede, and oh boy, Artemis and the Hunter look like they're in trouble. They're going to fall off a cliff, but no. The Admiral, as well as some of his Hunter team, turn up and save the day. And then, for some reason, the Admiral, Ron Perlman, turns up, and luckily, he speaks English. He's the only person that speaks English, which is explained by, oh, some of your people came through the portal many years ago, and I learned to speak off of them.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. It's
I feel like
stupid.
there's a running theme with bad video game movies where we go, and then, and it's just
Yes.
beat after beat after beat after beat with zero character development.
Yeah.
And then, for some reason, even though the hunter is clearly friends with Artemis, the Admiral punches her in the face and locks her up.
That was a very light punch to get knocked out cold, wasn't it?
It was especially considering that not 2 days ago she flipped in a jeep.
Yeah.
Then she wakes up on the ship and somehow breaks out of the cage by hitting a thick steel padlock with a wooden table. And that's where we see the Palico for the first time, the Meowscular chef, who definitely gives her the fuck me eyes.
I love palicos for the most part. They're just cat puns. There's
And
one
you
that wears
love this
cow.
one, right?
I love this one. It gave me the fuck me eyes. But there's one palico that wears a cowboy hat and it greets the player every time with meowdy doo.
Meowdy, yeah. What I don't understand about this scene is she's clearly been taken prisoner. She breaks out of the prison and then she runs into the hunter, who just goes, "Hi, come with me. We're friends again."
Yeah.
He's cool with it as well.
And then the Admiral explains how the Sky Tower, as Tim alluded to, is a magical portal between the New World and Earth. And as long as this place exists and it's operational, the Earth is always going to be at risk of monster attacks and various other barely explained reasonings. And then they have the most redeeming part of the movie, which is where they fight the Rathalos.
Yeah.
So it starts in the New World at the Sky Tower where they're fighting him, and then for some reason they all fall through a portal, and then the military are there again, and it becomes very much an hoorah US military scene where for some reason they decide that they can take out a dragon with tanks, and there is a greater scene that made me audibly laugh where the Rathalos just stands on the front of a tank and then rips the top off of it.
Mm-hmm. It was very Murica. Fuck yeah.
And then we're in the same situation again where this legendary apex hunter of a creature, this destroyer of worlds sort of thing, is defeated by a single member of the US military. She launches a flare in his mouth and it explodes, and job's a good one.
Keep in mind, this is the monster who's very famous for breathing fire. Why would fire kill it?
Fire out of the place that it breathes fire from. Let's not leave out that detail.
It gets explained that it's vulnerable when it's preparing to breathe fire, because obviously it's opening his mouth wide, it's got its flame sack at the back. It's vulnerable to being hit, but I don't feel like an organ that is built to breathe fire should be susceptible to fire. It's like our stomachs being susceptible to acid.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But she launches a flare in its mouth, it explodes, and it dies.
Chips. Was that a joke worth throwing you off your tangent for, Alex?
Yeah, because my tangent's over, I think. And then, so then we get to the last scene where Admiral Ron and the Hunter have inexplicably appeared through the portal, and we get told, "Oh, as long as this portal exists, it's always going to be a risk to Earth." And Artemis decides, "Yeah, I'm going to join you in more fights." And then they turn around. It's the big spooky sky. You see lightning behind the Sky Tower, and there is Gore Magala. But I don't think it was ever explained that it is Gore Magala, is it?
Nope. Those words are not in the film.
No.
I think
that's definitely a nod for the fans.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those everyone's looked at it and gone, "That looks like Gore Magala," and that's become the canon. And it was very clearly meant to be a setup for a sequel, which means the directors thought that this film was gonna do well,
Yeah.
Are
and
you
it did
suggesting
not.
that it wasn't worth a sequel, Alex?
I mean, no, no, it wasn't.
I mean, I was
So-
saying this is another thing I was saying to Payne because she was watching this along with me. I would love if they just did a film on one of the fleets. In Monster Hunter World, you're part of what, the 5th or the 9th fleet or something
You're
like
the
that.
fifth fleet. You're
Fifth fleet. In Rise, you're a part of a different fleet, something like the 8th or whatever fleet rather. Just make it about a fleet. Make the whole thing about a fleet, and you will be able to. You don't need the U.S. military portal shit. Just do more Monster Hunter stuff and make it about the fleet, and you're good.
This is what I was saying back at the start before my rambling about the entire film being a piece of crap. They obviously wanted to do this is a person who is not used to this life trying to grow into it. They could have easily done that with a new recruit. They could have gone, oh, we've got this new recruit from this village. He's never been a hunter, but he wants to be a hunter, so we're gonna train him. Hey, you veteran hunter, go take him out into the forest and show him how to kill.
Yeah.
You know, kill a what's the lizard thing called?
Jagras.
Jagras. Thank you.
Hey, I just out Monster Hunted Alex. Wow, that's.
You did.
I'm just gonna
Because
pop that crown on there.
Yeah.
Because thanks to this movie, I've forgotten Monster Hunter.
But I think, Alex, your idea there of saying taking them out, oh, we'll fight this basic and we'll go back. That is the game, but that is a far more true to the source material version of the game. It would be far more accessible it would make people go, if it was done well, it would make people go, that's what the game does. So I like the film, so I'll obviously play the game. What this did was make me go, well, this is nothing like the game. If I didn't know the game, I would watch this and think, well, why would I want to play as the military in this world that, is full of monsters and is bad, and then have nothing explained to me. I felt like it was a completely missed opportunity.
I think the thing is, the Monster Hunter is one of those series where if you're not into it, you're not gonna get it. So I get that making a film on it for the general masses would potentially be quite difficult. Do you know what is another game that is very hard to get into if you're not into it? D&D. Look how well that movie did.
That movie's brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying.
They
Like,
made
they
it
took
accessible while being in universe.
Yes, exactly. And Monster Hunter could have done the same if it was written even slightly well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very frustrating movie.
When I saw that they were doing a Monster Hunter movie, I wanted it to be good, and the original promo stuff that they put out was Monster Hunter based. It was Artemis with her dual blades and the piecemeal leather armor. It was the hunter with his great sword. It was Ron Perlman. From what I remember, at least in the original promo stuff, there was nothing of the military in it.
No, not at all.
And it looked like it was going to be a Monster Hunter
I
movie.
think they included the Jeep flipping. That's why I made a point of it earlier. I remember seeing in the trailer the Jeep flipping in the desert, but that I think is it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, here's a question for you both. If they did do a sequel, would you watch it?
Well, yes, but I love a train wreck, so yeah.
No, I would have no faith that it would be done well. I would wait to see what the reviews were, rather than just wanting to see it.
Yeah, I'd very much be in Joey's camp. I wouldn't go to the cinema to see it. I'd wait.
Alex, what would you give it out of 10?
It's like a 4. For me, the main redeeming feature of it is that it was fairly true to Monster Hunter stuff, and the monsters looked really good. Other than that, it wasn't a good movie. I wouldn't say it was a terrible movie, but it wasn't a good movie. What about you, Joey?
Well, I'd like to hear Tim first.
I gave it a 3 out of 10 on my IMDb account. Like I say, the only thing that's carrying that is basically the monster weapon and armor design. That's about it.
Fair enough. I would have given it a 2. I think your assessment is quite generous, Alex. And I asked myself the question: would I rather watch this or Resident Evil Silent Hill Revelations again? And the answer would be Monster Hunter, but it didn't come very quickly as an answer.
It was a closer decision than you'd like.
It's much closer for what I would describe as one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shall we discuss something more positive?
Yes.
Tim, what's coming up on the next Video Game Movie Club?
Video Game Movie Club. Just as we're doing a bit of a Monster Hunter thing, Tekken DLC is very much active with Season 2 currently on the go. So I thought it would be fun. We're having an upcoming mainline episode on Tekken 8, but we're going to be getting together with the guys from Biased Anime Pod and watching Tekken Bloodlines, the anime series.
Hey,
Which is a short, accessible anime series, right?
150 minutes total.
I'm always called short and accessible, so if you like me, you might like this.
Is it a movie then?
No, 6 episodes, 150 minutes total.
Oh wow,
it's real short.
Interesting. So yeah, join us for that, and join us having the guys from BAP. We're very excited to all get together for that. It's going to be a train wreck to edit.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's fine. I did the Among Us edit. I can work with 5 people.
Download as FLAC.
No. How big was that FLAC file? It was something like 180 gig or something, wasn't it?
I don't know.
God, I forgot that you downloaded that as a FLAC file.
Anyway, this is not good content for anyone who doesn't understand file formats and why that was bloody hilarious.
So yeah, join us in a month's time for Tekken Bloodlines. Join us next week for Factorio. And join us random Thursdays for whatever we're going to be streaming by that point, because it's probably not going to be Baldur's Gate.
We're probably done with it in the next week or two from recording.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love you. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.
Mwah.
Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band.